You have a breakpoint and your opponent misses the first serve. What's more, your opponent is a big server and you know that this is one of the few chances you have to break him. How do you deal with this pressure situation? My thoughts on the matter are in this video. Last weekend, many players were back in action in the Davis Cup. Slava Belinsky was in Luxembourg with the Ukrainian team. Slava did not play in this tie, and Ukraine had to admit defeat to the Luxembourg team led by Rodesh, who proved too strong. Yuri Rodionov was part of the Austrian team playing in Japan. After the trip to Australia, it was once again a very long journey, but it turned out to be a very positive trip for the team with Yuri. With 2 points in the singles, Yuri once again made a strong contribution to the 3-2 victory against Japan. Once again with the score at 2-all, the responsibility fell to Yuri, and once again he lived up to the challenge. Which brings me to the main point of this video: how to deal with stressful situations. First of all, I think it's very much a matter of personal perspective. What may be too much pressure for one person in a certain situation may be particularly joyful situation for another. With Yuri and the Davis Cup, I have this feeling, which of course makes it easier to deliver such strong performances. This perspective depends very much on the personality of the individual. This personality develops a certain basic attitude, and it is with this basic attitude that one must then deal with the particular challenge. While one player really flourishes on a big stage, the big stage can be very intimidating for another player and hold them back. For me, the big stage was a challenge at the beginning of my career, and that's why I was intimidated. It was a gradual process for me to overcome these inhibitions and finally perform on a big stage. This process happened for me automatically, so to speak, as I climbed the rankings, so that I had to get used to it, and adoption helped. For a player who feels comfortable on a big stage, everyday life at tournaments can quickly become tiring, tedious and frustrating. Finding motivation again and again in this everyday routine can be a huge challenge for many players, and some players simply remain stuck in a certain ranking range, even though their potential is much higher. In my opinion, finding solutions for yourself to get out of this circle requires mental creativity. I would like to use the breakball situation mentioned at the beginning as an example of how I managed to cope better with this situation. My problem with this breakball situation was that I became too passive. I was aware of the importance of the situation and the opportunity it presented, and this importance caused me to react too passively with the motto of not making any mistakes. It goes without saying that this had a negative impact on the quality of my shots. Against better players, this poor quality was punished. So I might have gotten away with it once or twice against weaker players, but against better ones, I was fighting a losing battle. So I was faced with the question of how I could better deal with this situation. My wrong goal in this situation was to play it safe, so as not lose the point. Realizing that this thought would not lead to the desired success, I changed my thinking in this situation. I tried to shift my priorities so that winning points was no longer the main focus, but rather implementing what I had set out to do. My goal was, of course, a qualitative return and the corresponding stroke execution. And over time, I managed to put this into action more and more. Shifting the reward was also very helpful for me. Of course, mistakes still happen despite correct execution, but I managed to overlook them. I no longer reward myself mentally just for winning points, but rather for consistently implementing what I had intended to do. And this way of thinking made a huge difference for me. I was disciplined enough to implement it and was rewarded for it in the long run. That's why I can only recommend that every player rethink their own priorities and, after analysis, rearrange their goals accordingly to suit their own character. Thank you for your interest and see you in the next video.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, and thanks for watching.